This is the Daily Market Comment by Rafi Boyadjian. I'm Maria Pashradis. Thanks for joining us at XM.com. The US dollar got off to a steadier start on Monday, and stocks were mixed after a top Fed official played down the significance of last week's softer-than-expected CPI report in overnight comments. Speaking at an economic event in Australia, Governor Christopher Waller said the endpoint for interest rates is still a ways off, and that October's inflation drop was just one data point. For the markets, this intransigent stance has been another party spoiler, but not necessarily a deal breaker for the optimists, as equity markets have retained a good degree of positive momentum after Waller's remarks. The dollar index plummeted to almost 3-month lows on Friday in what was its worst week in 2.5 years. But the renewed caution over Fed policy is helping it recoup some of those losses on Monday, while Treasury yields are also edging higher. There was not as much caution in equity markets, however, as the prevailing mood was one of optimism. On Wall Street, far from reversing the 2-day rally, E-mini futures were last trading between 0.3% and 0.5% lower. China announced a 16-point rescue plan for its embattled real estate sector on Sunday in a bid to shore up struggling developers, as well as to boost property sales. The measures follow last week's shift in COVID quarantine rules, which raised hopes that other restrictions may soon also be relaxed. Nevertheless, gains in Chinese stocks were somewhat contained, as the end of zero COVID may be months away, and in the meantime, COVID cases continue to rise in Beijing and other major hubs. This weighed on the demand outlook for some commodities, particularly for oil, sending prices lower on Monday. Gold prices were also lower, likely being driven by the firmer dollar and the thawing relations between the US and China after their leaders held a face-to-face meeting at the G20 summit in Indonesia. In digital currencies, Bitcoin and other altcoins bounced off their lows from the start of the session, following days of heavy selling. Crypto markets were plunged into turmoil after a major exchange, FTX, collapsed. Reports over the weekend that the platform has been hacked have only worsened the crisis, making today's rebound all the more surprising. This is today's Daily Market Comment. Thanks for joining us at XM.com.